A KSLSports.com presentation. Game Night Live kicks off now. Presented by America First Credit Union.
The playoffs roll on. Thanks for joining us on Game Night Live, a semifinal edition of Game Night Live. Jeremiah Jensen and Sam Farnsworth joining you for the next 30 minutes. 4A, 5A, and 6A semifinals all played this week on the turf of Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Yeah, great stage there. It was an all Utah County final for Class 5A, and North met South in the two 4A semifinal matchups. But of course, we're going to start with the big dogs in Class 6A.
Yeah, we were waiting for this rematch. The first meeting this year between Lone Peak and Corner Canyon was a classic. It took a Corner Canyon comeback, 14 points in the final 2 minutes to win it. It took one play for Corner Canyon to find the end zone in this one. A lead they never lost. Cole Hagan to Talmadge Handley, 80 yards, and it's 6-0. Just 12 seconds into the game. Oh, it was a sloppy game. Both teams combined for 4 turnovers in the first half. The Lone Peak defense all over Hagan. The next score came with just 30 seconds left in the second half. Hagan to Handley again would set up a screen pass to John Glavin, filling in for Corner Canyon's injured starting running back, Austin Bell. He's into the end zone. The Chargers led 13-0 at the half. Let's go to the third quarter, when Hagan drops another bomb on Lone Peak. And again, it's Handley. A 57-yard touchdown. Handley had 3 catches, 146 yards, and 2 scores. 20-0. Corner Canyon leads after 3. The Charger defense completely shutting down Lone Peak's offense. The Knights just scrapped the game plan, put the ball in the hands of their best player, Nate Ritchie. He opens the fourth quarter with Lone Peak's first touchdown. But then Hagan crushes their hopes of a comeback. Cole Hagan, 280 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and rushed for 87 yards, 57 of them on this touchdown run. Hagan has never lost as a starter. Corner Canyon has won 25 straight games, and they'll play for a 6A state title.
Coming into it, we know that they're a really solid team, especially after the first game. We knew they were going to give it everything they got, so we had to, too.
It was a battle. The scoreboard looks a little bit different than that, but it definitely was. They were tough. I mean, you can see our kids were physically pretty spent at the end of the game, too, and I know theirs were also. It was a hard-fought game.
That's the goal. I mean, that's what we're going for. That's what we've been working since January for, so, I mean, that's everything for us.
Well, back in week 4 of the regular season, American Fork quarterback Maddox Madsen was injured in a game against East. Hayden Betts came in, threw for 6 touchdowns in a 57-45 win. Yesterday in the 6A semifinals, the rematch. This time, Madsen healthy and ready to go, and he was slinging it, too. Let's start these highlights off, though, here in the second quarter. East up 7-6, marching downfield. Mapavayanuku, 30 yards. That's moving the chains for the Leopards. Amini Amone would punch in his second score of the day for a 14-6 East lead, but then the AF offense starts clicking. Madsen to Devin Downing, 31-yard touchdown, make it a 2-point game. With 50 seconds left in the half, Madsen deep to Tanner Holden, 55-yard touchdown. Caveman up 20-14 at the half. Second half, American Fork has the ball first, and on the very first play, Madsen to Holden, who has everyone beat. 88 yards. Holden had 4 catches, 164 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Amini Amone deserves recognition for the game he had for East. 131 yards, hard-fought yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. This one made it a 6-point game. In the fourth quarter, AF put the game away, though. Jackson Gregory from 1 yard out. He ran for 134 yards in the game. But this was all about Maddox Madsen. The sophomore quarterback completed 21 of 31 passes, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, 0 interceptions. And credit his O-line. He wasn't even sacked in the game. American Fork moving on to the title game.
He's very mature, he's very smart, and he does what the defense has given him. And he was able to come out today, play great, get the ball where he needed to go to his playmakers, and he had a fantastic game.
Last year was unreal to be here. We have some unfinished business we want to take care of. Here to prove the doubters wrong.
All right, Sam, let's take a look at this matchup. Corner Canyon versus American Fork for the 6A state championship on Friday. Corner Canyon, wow, they've been so impressive. 25 straight wins. They're appearing in their 3rd consecutive championship game. Actually, their 2nd consecutive. They were in a semifinal 3 years ago. They've won their first championship last year. American Fork's in the championship game, Sam, for a 2nd year in a row. They lost to Lone Peak last year. I see two explosive offenses, a defense. That's where I think Corner Canyon really has an edge.
Yeah, I think if American Fork is going to keep pace with Corner Canyon, it's going to be a shootout. They lost by 30 points earlier in the season when the two met up. But I see Austin Bell, you know, he had 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. Unavailable, though. Cole Hagan threw 2 touchdowns, added 2 on the ground. Maddox Madsen leads all 6A, though, with 41 touchdown passes. The kid is legit. Cole Hagan is second, though, 39. Like I said, I think this game could very well be a big shootout.
Well, if Bell can't go at the running back position for Corner Canyon, that would certainly change the dynamic of this game. We'll have to wait and see on that. But that would be the one difference here from that first matchup where Corner Canyon won by 31. All right, now let's go to 5A. The Orem Tigers dominated 4A last season on their way to a state title. This year, they moved up to 5A. They were the preseason favorite to win state, but entered the playoffs as a 12 seed. Salem Hills was one of the biggest surprises of the high school football season, earning the #1 seed in the 5A playoffs. Salem Hills playing on the turf for the first time in school history, a great moment for that school. Orem, though, I think the 12 seed thing, I think they had a statement to make, and they made it early in this one. The Tigers would score with 6:54 left in the first quarter. Micah Fea to Buju Tui Savura. He's going to go 65 yards down the sideline for the touchdown, and Orem led 14-0 after 1 quarter. Second quarter, Salem Hills trying to get back into this. And they're going to get a turnover that helps. A fumble here, and they recover. That's going to set up the Skyhawks' first score. Jarrett Elmer is their quarterback. He'll step back, and he's going to toss it to Austin Hallows for a 16-yard touchdown. It's 14-7 Orem. The Tigers close out the second quarter, though, with 2 strong scores. Fea to Jackson Williams. What a catch. Gets 1 foot inbounds in the end zone. 27-7 Orem with the lead. Now in the third quarter, Orem continues their dominance. Fea to Britton Paulson for a 9-yard touchdown. The Tigers blow the game open in the third, outscoring Salem Hills 21-7. Player of the game was 5-star linebacker and running back Noah Sewell. If you're a linebacker and you have this coming at you, well, it takes courage. His first score came in the first quarter on a 3-yard dive. Even makes handing the ball to the official entertaining. He scores again in the second quarter, an 8-yard run that gave Orem that 27-7 halftime lead. Then in the third quarter, he saved his best for the third, a 46-yard touchdown, and it helps when you got those offensive linemen out in front of you. Sewell with 11 carries, 149 yards, and 3 scores, also had 5 tackles on defense. Orem will play for the 5A state championship.
To be honest with you, we've hung 12s in the locker room. We've talked about being the 12 seed, but in the end, you know, you got to beat whether they put 1, 2, 3 in front of you. Wherever you start, it's you know, doesn't matter as much as where you are next week. So that's all that's mattered to us.
I feel like we're a little bit underrated, and then the RPI, but it is what it is. We're still going to do our game, you know, just come out with a win.
There's no doubting how good Noah Sewell is, but Timothy's got a pretty good running back as well, and he happened to have his biggest game of the season in the semifinals. That also set up this matchup in the state championship game. So Timpview, with the 10th seed, going up against 11th seeded Lehigh. The T-Birds won the previous meeting this season when they met up, but obviously it's the semifinals. You can throw that one out, right? First quarter, Timpview on their way to doing it again. Their defense did their thing, recovering the fumble in the opening drive. A bit later, the T-Birds secondary getting one of 3 interceptions in the game. I mentioned Timpview running back, right? His name's Targi Lamson, and the junior was running wild. 11-yard score in the first for the 7-0 lead. Followed that one up with a 21-yard touchdown run. There he is, and there he goes. It was a 14-0 lead, and then a 42-yard touchdown run before the half. Had the T-Birds leading 21-7 when they went into the locker room. You know, Lamson kept climbing the ladder in the second half. This time a 61-yard scoring run. He had 210 yards total in this game. Later in the third quarter, it was Raider DeMooney slamming the door shut on Lehigh, a 29-yard pick six. Shout out to Sione Moa, who also ran for 116 yards. The T-Birds will face Orem for the title.
And all we can do is take care of Timpview. So we're going to go back and make sure that Timpview is as good as we can be, and we'll come back here next week.
We came together when the playoffs came around, man, and everybody's doubting us, and we just want to follow in the footsteps of the other T-Birds, man. We take pride in that.
We're playing tough, hard-nosed football, and the kids are playing the whole game.
So here we go. Orem and Timpview, a rematch. Orem beat Timpview in the regular season 28-10. Noah Sewell ran for 2 touchdowns in that win. And Timpview has not lost since. Orem going for a 3rd consecutive state championship. This is Timpview's first appearance in the championship since 2015. Sam, what do you think the difference will be in this rematch?
Well, there's not a lot of teams in high school football in this state where you prepare for one player, but Timpview's got to find out a way to stop this guy. Noah Sewell is so dominant when he's got the ball in his arms, and like you said, it takes courage to step in his path, and Timpview's got to find a way to slow him down.
So I think Timpview's going to have to show that they can throw the football in this game. That might be the difference. If they can't, I think Orem is going to roll to another state championship. All right, now let's move on to 4A. Park City is one of just 3 undefeated teams in the state of Utah. They beat a Region 9 team in the quarterfinals, a gritty 14-10 win over Snow Canyon. A much bigger challenge in the semifinals, facing another Region 9 team, that explosive Pineview team with their explosive offense. It turned out not to be a bigger challenge. The Miners were up to it. Right from the opening kick, first possession, Dylan Bauer, 37 yards for the touchdown.
And it's a one-play touchdown.
It was 12-0 Pineview when they finally get on the board. A tough run by Enoch Takau. It was 12-7 after 1 quarter. We think we got a pretty good game going on here. Well, in the second quarter, Park City put some distance between the 2 teams. Quarterback Jack Skidmore with some great blocking. The dual threat quarterback shows off his wheels down the sideline, 73 yards. The Miners take a 20-7 lead. Pineview answers just 1 minute and 20 seconds later. McLeod Croton to Dominique McKenzie. A 43-yard touchdown. The lead cut to 6. Park City gets to 6 back with 6 minutes left in the second. Skidmore to Andrew Peterson. An 8-yard touchdown. It's 26-14 Park City at the half. Let's go to the third quarter. All Park City. They break the game wide open. Skidmore. He keeps it. A 22-yard touchdown run. Then with 2.5 minutes left in the quarter, Skidmore to Mark McCurdy. A 30-yard touchdown. Park City's defense held Pineview to just 21 points. Very impressive. The Miners moved to 13-0. They'll play for a title.
They'd be lying if they said they didn't set their sights on getting to the championship game, and we just gave ourselves an opportunity. Had a few guys go down tonight, and other guys stepped up, and just a great team effort, offense, defense, special teams, you name it. They just did a great job tonight. So proud of them.
I mean, this is great. I mean, we just wanted to come back and take care of business. We just won redemption last year, and I think we got it, but we still got 1 more game left. We're not done yet.
Well, the Dixie Flyers had just 2 losses all season. Both of those games they lost by just 1 point each. In their 9 wins, the average margin of victory was 28 points. Could they top Skyview's 10-game win streak, though? That was the other 4A semifinal. The Bobcats hadn't scored less than 35 points in each of their last 6 games. It was a back-and-forth first half here. Dixie with the opening drive. Cap it off with Reggie Graff punching it in. 7-0 Flyers. Final 2 minutes of the quarter, Skyview did a ton here. The wide receiver reverse pass to Scout Morris. He's going to get down to the 5-yard line. Kason Carlson would tie the game up with the touchdown run. And then just over a minute later, Mason Falsliff to Brigham Lewis for the go-ahead touchdown. 14-7 Skyview. In the second quarter, Dixie stops the bleeding and punches back. Reggie Graff with the pump and go to Tyler Walden. 20-yard touchdown. Flyers would add another touchdown before the half. It was tied at 21 at the break. So here we go. Only 1 score came in the third quarter, but it was on a 27-yard pass from Carlson to Lewis. Skyview taking a 28-21 lead. And in the fourth quarter, Dixie just ran out of gas while Mason Falsliff still had plenty of it. A 51-yard touchdown run, giving Skyview a 14-point lead. 4 minutes later, they just give it back to Falsliff. He's going to get another score from 20 yards out, and Skyview pulls away. They're into the title game with the 49-21 win.
This is like the greatest feeling ever, but, back to Monday, we just got to focus up and be ready for Park City.
Super impressed with the way our kids played in the second half. I thought it was a complete turnaround. It was back and forth, and then we came out and got 1 stop and then got our defense energized a little bit and got us going, and then we got a running game going in the fourth quarter especially.
So what a matchup we have in the 4A state championship. Park City undefeated at 13-0. Skyview with just 1 loss in week 2 against 6A Sky Ridge. Only the 2nd state championship appearance for Skyview in school history. Last was in 1987. Park City's 0-5 in state championship games. Somebody's going to celebrate for the first time in a long time. Last appearance was in 2001. So these two teams played last year in the 4A quarterfinals. Skyview was the top seed, and Park City got the 15-14 upset. And this was a very emotional game. I think some of the players that were involved in this game might remember when they play again on Friday. Tempers flared in this one. There was a stomping incident, and some things got a little nasty there at the end. But, Sam, this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think this is going to be the best championship game matchup we have.
Yeah, no doubt. There's two players I'm keeping my eye on, Park City's Skidmore and Falslift from Skyview. I want to see how those two guys perform when the lights shine brightest.
That Park City defense is going to be tough. All right, now to the 3A state championship game. Morgan was tired of second place. They came up short in title games in 2015 and 2017. Well, the third time turned out to be the charm. Morgan and Juab in a defensive slugfest. First series of the game for Juab, and it didn't go well. The snap sails over the punter's head, and it's a safety. The Morgan kicker Sloan Calder makes a 45-yard field goal to give the Trojans a 5-0 lead, and 5-0 was the score at halftime. So the third quarter, more defense. Morgan trying to make something happen. Carter Thackeray going deep, but Juab star Cade Bowering flies in and makes a juggling interception to end the drive. Juab trying to build on that momentum. Bowering with a bruising run, but he's stripped. Look at this. By defensive tackle Jamison Burriston. What a play. Strips it into the air and catches it. Calder makes another field goal. He was clutch, a 42-yarder, and it's 8-0 Morgan. It's still 8-0 Morgan with 1:20 left in the game when Juab gets a big break. Trying to burn the clock. Morgan's going to fumble in their own territory. Jonah Settle forced the fumble. Juab has the ball on the Morgan 35. But the Morgan defense would step up big. Fourth down for Juab quarterback Zach Cowan. Picked off by Jacob Burt, and that's how it would end. According to George Felt, this is the first state championship game without a touchdown since 1934. Morgan wins their first state championship since 1997. They didn't need a touchdown. That 22-year drought is over.
Our defense has been stellar all year long, and we just, we try not to put them in bad situations, and occasionally we do, and they just keep rising to the occasion. That's a great team win. Special teams played a big role, and I'm sorry, I'm a loss for words. I couldn't be prouder of these guys.
Congrats, Morgan. The 2A state championship game going on right now down at Dixie State. Beaver against Milford.
They get in.
First quarter, Milford's Bryson Barnes. We know about this guy's arm. He's got a cannon. Deep to one, Gaspar for the touchdown. 6-0 Tigers. Tied at 6 going into the second quarter. Beaver with the halfback pass. EJ Allred at the receiving end. Look at him go. 66-yard touchdown. 12-6 Beaver. Later in the quarter, Riker Albrecht with his second scoring run of the game. Beaver led 24-6 at the half. We'll have the final highlights at 10. Hey, highlight reels coming up next.
All right, so American Fork and Corner Canyon will play for the 6A title. Orem and Timpview in 5A, Park City and Skyview in 4A. Let's look back at how they all got there.
Yeah, this is the Game Night Live highlight reel, and it is right now.
We begin our top plays with a spectacular catch by Nick Session of East High School. He doesn't need two hands. The one-handed grab. East came up short, but he'll always have that memory.
Hey, did someone say great catches? Look at this. Jackson Williams, a great one here. The toe tap on the 9-yard pass from Micah Thea. Williams led the Tigers with 87 receiving yards.
And Noah Sewell was special in the semifinal. He rushed for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just running over dudes. It's 46 yards, icing on the cake. Top performers are next. We begin with Timpview running back Targi Lamson, 210 yards on 22 carries and 4 touchdowns. He was sensational for the Thunderbirds in their semifinal win over Lehigh.
We showed you his 46-yard run earlier, but Noah Sewell earns a primetime performer as well for what he did against Salem Hills. 11 carries, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's 13.5 yards per carry.
Jack Skidmore, huge for Park City. 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns in their 48-21 win.
And our final primetime performer, you got to give it to the sophomore quarterback from American Fork, Maddox Madsen. He's going to the championship.